Gentlemen, the rumors involving Transformers are doing nothing but gaining strength in these last few days. It seems that Paramount and Hasbro are ready to, finally, put all their cards on the table. And it is because the planets have aligned. Because despite the lukewarm box office of Rise of the Beasts, the profit from merchandising has been so abysmally positive that they simply could not ignore it. Listen to this data. In Hasbro's closing balance sheets, toy sales skyrocketed by 110% compared to previous years. This figure is not trivial. It is a war cry. That is why insiders and leakers cannot stop mentioning a mega event that would signify the definitive awakening of the franchise. The strategy? To bring back their winning horses, to recapture that lost magic, that spirit of 2007 that started it all. There is talk not only of Michael Bay's return to the director's chair, but also of gathering the original writing team and bringing back heavy hitters like Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. The goal is ambitious, to merge the past, the present, and the future of the saga into a single cohesive cinematic universe. But let's keep our feet on the ground. How real is all this? Is it possible to replicate the success of almost 20 years ago today with such a fragmented fandom? Well, I have compiled the 5 most potent rumors, and we are going to analyze them one by one to visualize what will be, in my view, the awakening of one of Hollywood's sleeping giants. So, without further ado, let's begin.
The inevitable fusion, G.I. Joe and Cobra. All right, knowing that there is a lot of money on the table, let's break this down from the most obvious to the most controversial. We start with the obvious. The ending of Rise of the Beasts was not a suggestion, it was a promise. It is said that the human villains will no longer be generic military, but the Cobra organization, utilizing Cybertronian technology to create hybrid weapons. This is almost a fact. Paramount needs to escalate the threat and, above all, level the playing field. Let's be honest, a common human has nothing to do against a Transformer. It is ants against gods. That is why for humans to stop being a nuisance and to be able to stand face to face with an Optimus Prime, they need an urgent upgrade. The solution? Cybertronian technology. It is a concept they already teased with Noah's exosuit in Rise of the Beasts and even in the technology of that G.I. Joe movie from 2009. So believe me, this rumor is brutally possible.
Chris Hemsworth to live action.
It is said that after the critical success of Transformers 1, the studio wants to capitalize on its new star. The rumor indicates that Paramount wants to move Chris Hemsworth from the dubbing booth to the big screen, turning him into the new human face of the franchise, most likely as the leader of the G.I. Joes. It makes all the sense in the world. They need an A-list star to fill the void left by Mark Wahlberg. Chris is already on the payroll, he has the charisma, and he's a healthy connection that the audience already embraced in Transformers 1. It is the safe move.
The return of Michael Bay. It is said here that they offered a blank check to Bay to direct, but with conditions. Watch out here. You have to read the fine print. Michael Bay has said 1,000 times that he is done with robots. Do I see him directing another 3-year production? No. Do I see him returning as an active executive producer to ensure his visual DNA is present? Absolutely. Paramount needs his aesthetic, that artistic genius of 2007, but not necessarily his chaos on set. If they manage to get Bay to imprint his visual soul on a coherent script without unnecessary butt countershots, I have no doubt that this will be a mega boom. The obsession with Unicron. It is also mentioned that they want to try again with Unicron. In my view, this would be a tactical error, and it seems more like a fan's wet dream than a real strategy. Unicron will always be present, but it is not necessary to use him as such. We already mentioned him in The Last Knight and saw him in Rise of the Beasts. Repeating a villain for the 3rd time in a franchise with more than 20 years of lore would be a monumental error. Likewise on this point, I would love to know your opinions, guys and gals. the ghost of Sam Witwicky. And finally, the most delicate and key rumor. There is talk of the return of Shia LaBeouf, but not how you think. We would not be talking about a physical return to star, but something narrative. Reports suggest that the story would canonically confirm the death of Sam Witwicky, but giving it a heroic weight. The engine of the movie would be a final act of Sam, a file, a recording, or a key discovery that he left before dying and that falls into the hands of the new protagonist. In this way, Sam is not a cameo, he is the cause of the new adventure. This strategy solves two problems with one stone. On one hand, the passing of the torch. You validate the new hero, Hemsworth, making him the heir to Sam's mission. And on the other, a tribute. You give the fans of 2007 the emotional closure they deserve, elevating Sam to legend status, without the logistical mess of bringing the actor back full-time.
In conclusion, gentlemen, the landscape is clear. Paramount and Hasbro have understood that they have gold in their hands, but they need to capitalize on it in the cinema, not just in toys. The strategy of throwing figures at the screen with chaotic stories no longer works. What we see in these rumors, original writers, Bay's aesthetic, G.I. Joe, and Sam's legacy, is a calculated attempt at reconstruction. They want to recover the mystique that made the world fall in love with these robots almost 20 years ago, but adapting it to a new generation. If they manage to balance that nostalgia with a story that respects the veterans, we could be facing the definitive awakening of one of the most beautiful franchises in cinema. But I want to know what you think. Are you convinced by the idea of Sam being the martyr who drives the story? Or do you prefer to see him alive fighting one more time? Let me know in the comments, because I will be reading them. I am Cyber, and this is the Cyber Zone, so I will see you in the next video.